No, so we agreed to watch Whiskey Tango and Foxtrot because I'm attracted to Tina Fey, and it was a chick flick, so it was like a win-win. Plus, it's based in like the war. It's about a war reporter,
right?
And as I'm watching it, one of the things they end up talking about is how these war reporters live their lives. You become one of these guys and you can't ever quit because you get addicted to the adrenaline.
Yeah.
You get addicted to the rush of it all, right? So once you develop that lifestyle, it's very hard to go back to a normal, regular life because you become
regular
acclimated
life is boring.
to. Exactly. So I'm thinking about it and I'm going, all this virtue of fucking rock climbers and virtue of exercise people, it's all false virtue because they're all just a bunch of fucking drug addicts. That's what it is. So people if a guy who's a runner has this false virtue of like he's so
why
healthy.
Do you keep calling them false virtues?
Because they will look down on somebody who eats a lot of burgers and drinks a lot of beers.
No, those are assholes. There's still people that do all these things and aren't assholes.
Rock climbers think that they are special, okay? They are drug addicts.
But they're also fucking some of them that aren't assholes about it.
The thing that goes through your blood when your endorphins, that is like a schedule. If you were to schedule it on a drug list, it is as addictive as heroin. That is how addictive endorphins are in your system. You could, if you were to shoot it up, they would look at you like you were a sick, twisted, homeless heroin addict melting it on a spoon. But instead of melting it on a spoon, these fucking drug addicts go and jump out of planes and they climb walls.
What are you angry about? I mean,
it's a false virtue. And I'm calling you out. You adrenaline junkies are heroin addicts. They're heroin addicts. So they are fucking as much a drug addict as a person who does heroin, and I think they need interventions because they are a danger to themselves. So for us to look at it like, oh, it's just like, oh, look at these people. They really, no, stop putting my tinfoil hat on, okay? You stop it. This is not tinfoil hat stuff. This is not conspiracies. This is about proper lifestyles.
What a twist.
It's about proper living lifestyles.
Yeah.
My point is everyone's a fucking drug addict. And yet we judge the guy on heroin. We judge him, but we don't judge the person who has to wake up every morning at 5 a.m. to have a runner's high. Guess what? You're getting up abnormally early. You're doing something that we've all deemed as healthy, but the real reason you're doing it is so you can have your shot of heroin in the morning. You cannot function without heroin in your system. You are sick. You are a sick drug addict. And I say that for all of them.
Fucker, what have you been doing this weekend that has you on just nonstop tears? You hate everything.
I don't hate everything. I watched it and I realized that we all put on pedestals certain people and we all put on in the dungeon other people. And I always have an affinity. You know, I feel bad for homeless heroin addicts. I feel like they're just people too. But if you were to talk to somebody who exercises 37 times a day, I bet they would judge the homeless heroin addict. And I go to the rock climbers and I go to the scuba divers and I go to the parachuters and I go to the motorbikers. You guys are as bad as the heroin addict. That's what I say.
Okay, so now we've got the premises of the movie. What happens? How's the film?
She goes back to normal life. She gets out of being a war reporter. That wasn't even the premise of the movie. That was what I took away from the movie.
Oh.
She goes back to like Washington, D.C. She goes back to New York and she becomes a regular reporter because she decides she can't be one of these drug addicts. She's got to be a normal, regular person. In a way, that's brave. That's bravery. But these fucking people, they look at her like she's just a lemming. I say there's virtue in the average. There's virtue in the mundane. There's virtue in the boring. So if you are a person who does everything in moderation, that is virtuous. But if you do anything, that is okay. So excessively, you're a drug addict.
That's your whole like theme of the film. But I'm reading this, and it's the 2002 cable news producer Kim Baker decides to shake up her routine by taking a daring new assignment in Kabul, Afghanistan. Dislodged from her comfortable American lifestyle, Barker finds herself in the middle of an out-of-control war zone. Luckily, she meets Tanya Vanderpool, a fellow journalist who takes the shell-shocked reporter under her wing amid the militants, warlords, and nighttime partying. Barker, discovers the key to becoming a successful correspondent.
Yeah, you know what I got out of that? People that scuba dive are fucking heroin addicts. That's what I got out of that movie.